Thank you, my dude, for coming on. Jimmy Mura, excuse me.
Mura, yeah.
Mura, yeah, I don't know why I said that. We have collaborated in the past when you would host the shows. You're the director of the Clubhouse. You've had it around for quite some time. And you are highly involved in the local scene with tiers 1 and 2, like the starter up bands and the bands that are starting to get a lot more attention as they tour, whether it's DIY or when they're getting support from a label or a team to get them marketed and out there as a career worthy in the industry. So, I mean, you look great, dude. It's been a minute since I've seen you, and the Clubhouse is doing pretty well during the pandemic. That's awesome.
We're trying, yeah.
You guys definitely, in the early days when you started doing this, I met you back in 2016, 2017, and you hosted a Halloween party at a boathouse, in a sense, and it was free, and that place was fucking packed, dude. Like,
yeah, that spot was so cool. That spot is actually on the road that I live on, and I used to love throwing shows there. Those free shows were really sick, and that's actually where we got the name from the Clubhouse, because the whole neighborhood calls that building that I used to host shows at the Clubhouse. It's like the community clubhouse.
mm-hmm.
So that's where we got the name for the Clubhouse when we moved to like our own spot and stuff like that.
Yeah, you actually went through and trademarked it seems like, or you got a nonprofit. You turned into a nonprofit business.
We're a legal 501c3 nonprofit. Everything's above board and registered. I was gonna say we pay our taxes, but we don't because we're a nonprofit.
Right, exactly.
But we don't pay our taxes legally. So.
Mm-hmm. Now, what was the thought going behind that? Like, what's the benefits you're getting out of it? Because I'm curious, because I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah, so I loved throwing those shows at like this little community place, and I've done like VFW shows and like church shows and stuff like that a bunch in this area, and I've always loved them, and I've always had a good time with them, and it just I got tired of that stuff falling apart. Like you'd open a venue quote where you could do stuff for a few like months or maybe a few, and like then the neighbors would get mad, and then like you wouldn't be able to do them there anymore. Or, like the firehouse would be like, we don't want to do punk shows here or whatever. And like I just wanted a spot that like we could do those types of shows that like people were really hyped about, like that like DIY style show in this area, and do it in a way that wouldn't get shut down. That was the thinking behind it. And I just feel like there is a lot of great music in the Ocean County area. I mean, I love Asbury, I love Monmouth County and stuff too, but they've got so many places to play, and I feel like Ocean County just uses the same places to play. Like everyone just drives up to Asbury, even if you're an Ocean County band. And then the thing we didn't anticipate when we opened is that I didn't think about how few venues there are south of Ocean County also. So like we get a lot of bands that go like further west on Route 70, and like a lot of South Jersey bands come up to the Clubhouse all the time, and sort of like it's sort of their home too, because there aren't a lot of venues like this down below Asbury at all. And I just feel like we were fulfilling a niche. Plus we're close enough to Asbury to get all those bands too, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good collaborative effort. I mean, and especially when bands, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the ticket sales. I mean, it depends on like the venue and who you're opening up for. Or I mean, back in the day when I first started getting involved as a teenager, like trying to play shows, it was more of a competition of whoever can sell the most tickets will, further, go on the lineup. And then, usually bands are buying their own tickets, or, I mean, you're not getting much money from it, or you are getting money from it. Like the percentages were very just all over the place, no matter what. It just depended on the promoter and the show that you went to. But I thoroughly enjoy more of the shows that like you host, in a sense, where you're, not trying to push these, sales, or you're trying to build a community in itself. Like that's what basically matters. Exactly, what matters is everybody like actually enjoying the actual, the vibe of what the show is going to be, and furthermore, who's coming out, and like just enjoying a really good show instead of, I don't know, like trying to get friends and colleagues out, spend $15, $20, $17 on a ticket. Like,
yeah, I mean, my feeling is like we really exist like to like build these bands and help them like get to whatever levels they want to go. Like we really like want to help bands gain a following, gain a community. And my view on it is like the best way to do that is just to build shows people actually like want to attend. Like,
yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially because it could be cool to like play a packed show with like a lot of people that you sold tickets to, but at the end of the day, if like you forced a bunch of people who aren't in the scene to come out, that doesn't in the long run impact anything. Like that doesn't they're there to see you, and that's great, and like that's totally cool, but like they're not going to become fans of the other bands that are there. It's not going to like build a scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like they'll show up as well, and then they'll leave once you're done playing. It's like I saw my friend's band play, and
Right.
that's it. Yeah, that doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, and I loved doing those free shows because like we did free shows for a long time at the old spot that I was running, and like that was where I saw what this area's scene could be like because they were free and the only people that were there were the people that wanted to go, you know, like there was no ticket sales, and it was like, oh, there's something here. And then we tried to apply as many of those ethos as we could into the Clubhouse of Tom's River when we opened. I mean, to this day, like we have a policy, like we do charge for our shows,
Well,
but
of
we
course.
also have a policy of like no one gets in for, like no one gets turned away for lack of funds. Like if you can't do it, like you're able to come in unless we're like sold out. Like because we want to be able to like make that happen, make people engage in a scene and like build fans for these bands and stuff like that.
And you guys also have bills to pay, and you guys also, or girls, whoever's working for you or under you or with you, like everybody, everybody has bills to pay. It's your time, your energy, your effort, your passion for it.
Right.
We don't really, I don't really see a lot of like-minded people like you actually doing that. I mean, when I talked to Matt from A Will Away, he said the scene, like in his local scene in Connecticut, is completely trash, and he loves coming to Jersey. And I was like, no way,
Uh-huh.
really? So it's just, we have that here. I mean, I think Jersey has been one of the more predominant, like prominent, music scenes in the world. I mean, we can just
Yeah.
start naming like every single band that came from New Jersey. However, there's also, you're putting yourself in the middle spot, like you said, where you have these, you're in between venues, and people can also play, they can come from Ocean County, and then also attend that scene and everything, which is incredible. And you guys have you have a venue. I'm sure you have to pay rent and
Yeah.
so I mean, like you have to sell tickets. Like that's inevitable. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
but the thought of when you started it out, you slowly built the tier of the community, and now it's like coming forward and everything. And you have a good team with you. Don't I think you have like we talked earlier before we started streaming, like you had a videographer and photographer who
Yeah.
you guys are trying to implement live streaming soon with everything going on with COVID. And then who else do you have with you, throughout the whole team in itself?
Yeah, so our main team, we've got a couple people that do stuff at the clubhouse. I'm the director there. I handle most of the booking and stuff like that. We've got Matt McNabb who works with us, who is pretty much my like my partner in everything. He runs the clubhouse with me, and he handles everything from ticket sale to from like being the door person, to running sound. Sometimes he runs shows when I'm not there. He's second in command. We have Cassie Provenzano with us who helps run the store. We have a little store also that sells local artwork from local artists in our store.
That's so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, this just as like another way to like build the community, build like a relationship with artists in this area, and like we do it on consignment, so they leave stuff and then they give us a very small amount of the proceeds from it, and then we sell their stuff for them. And we keep all that stuff in the back of the venue so people can like shop a little bit between bands and things like that. So Cassie runs the store, and everyone does everything. Like we all like for what we're doing right now, we're doing these drive-in shows. Everyone is like working together to build the stage and like help set up these things each Sunday. We also have Jeff Coverstone who shoots amazing photos for us in the normal time and is helping us do volunteer work right now. And so is Rob Nivison does a lot of cool stuff too. And then Chris does all of our video and is absolutely incredible and has like been able to help us build an online presence, which is super cool. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like there's still a lot of people who are nervous about things like drive-in shows and stuff like that. And that Chris has helped us make an online version of those that are really high quality, so people that want to see something from home, they still have an option. And we're also going to get into live streaming and some other stuff with them soon too. So that's the main crew. We also have Adriana and Joe work. Adriana Slomich and Joe DeStefano work with us a lot too on a volunteering level. And right now, we're working toward toward paying people. We sometimes pay our door person a little bit and stuff like that. But right now, and has been the whole time the clubhouse has been open, everyone's here on a volunteer basis. So, including myself. So it's all volunteer.
That's so fantastic, dude.
Yeah,
And you guys are honestly, I mean, doing everything right. I mean, the content looks great, the socials look great, the logos look great. The one thing I liked in the beginning that you guys jumped right into before this whole fucking pandemic happened was you guys were bringing live studio sessions to the viewers on social media. I mean, that quality is there too. So, I mean, are you not doing the engineering? Do you got somebody else doing that? You know what I mean?
I'm mixing
You're mixing?
Yeah, I'm mixing those videos, and Chris does all the video work.
That's so fucking cool. Yeah, so I mean, like, and you just had, you know, I'm sure you played it out on the table and like, let's implement everything, and just keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked professionally as like a sound engineer and in production for a few years before I opened the clubhouse, and like, I really just wanted to bring a lot of those skills to this DIY level was sort of my thinking, and then I mean. We did like 1 or 2 live streams, or not live streams, like those studio sessions. And we were doing it ourselves with cameras, and like I was paying a separate editor. And then Chris just like emailed us and was like, "Hey, can I do those with you?" And we were like, "Hell yeah." And like Chris is a producer of that whole video series now, like all of our video content, and he's done such an amazing job. And Mike Seltzer works with him too, just to give him credit for his video work.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and you're building an aesthetic with it, but I don't see a lot of like live in studio. I mean, I see more of it now with the pandemic going on, but before everything started, I mean, you know, one of the bigger ones was like Audio Tree or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we like when we had our store open, we would keep our store open during the day and then do shows at night, and we just would sit in there watching audio trees all day. And we were like, we could do these. Like, we could do these.
Right.
We knew we could do them. I knew I had like the production level to do the audio end of it, and I feel like that's half the that is half the battle. And I thought, like, how cool would it be to give this to local bands, to give this to like bands that are just starting out, to put in their portfolio when they like email people asking for shows and say like, this is what we sound like live. Like, I thought that would be a really cool thing to do.
No, that is great because you like you said, you're giving them more of an opportunity to take advantage of that, and
right.
Like, not a lot of bands get that. And now you know with like implementing live, I mean that's also I've seen a couple stuff on Instagram where I don't know, I think it's a personal opinion of mine, but I don't think Instagram Live is the most efficient way to go because I see a lot of these bigger artists like just or musicians like not solo artists but like a drummer in a band that they'll do an Instagram Live. Let's say they have I don't know like 250,000 followers, and then I only see roughly like 1,000 watching. I'm like, I wonder if Facebook's more efficient. I wonder if Twitch is more efficient.
I feel like the nature of Instagram is so like you go to it for short bursts is sort of my thinking.
Yep.
And that, like you don't watch a 30-minute live session on Instagram or that's just my view. I'm also like learning that I'm not old, but I'm getting older. Like people are like Twitch, and I'm like, what's wrong with YouTube? Like, do I have to learn a new thing? Like,
right? Yeah. And my producer that I have on the side, who does a lot of help with this podcast and everything, and he said to stream solely on Twitch. He's like, and he's right. I've seen it work in this way. He's like, if you go on YouTube, like, yeah, someone will be able to tune in and stuff, but I mean, they're not gonna. I think they get a notification if I go live. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's the thing. But he said if people really give a shit about what you're doing, they'll go on Twitch. And they'll actually watch it. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then he's like, then you upload everything to all the other streaming platforms. I'm like, okay, and it's working. So I'm just gonna keep continuing to do that. But I'm trying to find the most I'm just thinking of the most ideal live streaming. But you're right, like in short bursts, like maybe short interviews, of like 15 and 20 minutes on Instagram. That's totally worked. But I've seen like where they go for hours. I'm like, I don't know if people have the attention span on something like that platform. I think it would be more for Twitch where you can pull it up on a TV. You can pull it up on
we were doing like the Instagram takeovers, and those were like short, and those worked really well on Instagram. Like
See, that's the thing.
cool.
Yeah, they're short, sweet, and it's like to the point, and it's like coming up next. You know, and
Yeah.
were you guys performing that on the IG live, like performing live gigs?
What we would do an Instagram takeover, and what we would do is we would give the band a personal login. Like we would change the password for the day, and they would get the whole platform from 12 to 8. They could post up to 3 posts on our main page, and then everything else was in the story.
So these 2 videos and then clip them together, because that's the power of editing in Adobe Premiere Pro. It's the power of that. It's fucking awesome. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Why is that 13 seconds? Don't troll me. Don't troll me, Twitch. Don't troll me. All right, good. So yeah, so the power of Instagram, when you guys do short bursts of the getting back to what we were talking about, when we get through the short burst of that Instagram live, I mean, it's cool to let you were saying that let the bands borrow the page for a day and then just let them go at it for something that they can engage with that content.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one way of like doing everything and just making it more efficient for not only you guys but for the band itself. It's like a win-win. You honestly can't like, I don't know, there's no way you can lose from that situation. And you guys have also taken the advantage of doing the drive-in concerts. And in the community, it has been very well recognized, and everybody sees what you're doing, and it's fucking fantastic. It's
Thank
just
you.
like we need something. We need some live entertainment. Now, I get it. It's not the same feeling as a live concert. It might be a little dry considering you're in your car, and I don't know if you guys are implementing radios, or I'm sure it's just
we are.
You are, yeah. So you're implementing the radio, and it's like you can bump and do like jam in your car and stuff, but it's not the same. But how has that, from you personally being involved with something like that, how have you seen that work out?
I mean, it's been awesome. Like, it has exceeded all of our expectations as to how popular it would be and how desired it would be. And honestly, like, the product itself, like what we are giving at the end of the day, like, I feel like it's a lot better than I expected. Like, it's not a show in a venue. Like, it's not. But I mean, it is by far the closest thing that I have experienced since this pandemic thing started. We take a lot of precautions to make sure things are happening safely. Should I just take you through like how they work essentially?
Dude, for sure. First, yeah, honestly.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
pop off,
so what we do is we book these drive-in shows. They're every Sunday. They're free in downtown Toms River. And what we do is we book usually one full band and one acoustic act, solo act. Sometimes we book 2 full bands if like they can share a lot of gear. And we'll book 2 of those bands. It goes from 6 to 7:30, and cars start coming in at 5:30. We park them. We give them all a good view. Everyone has to stay in their cars. Windows can't be cracked more than 3 inches, and if you open them more than that, you have to wear a mask. And then, yeah, you tune in on your radio. You'll hear music before the band starts playing. Like, we have like a house music playlist. And then I just come around. I make announcements about how, and this is great too. We got an anonymous donor who is matching all of the donations to the Clubhouse during the series to the organization Color of Change, which is an organization that like seeks to end like police brutality, which is really great. So yeah, I mean, so what we do is we basically, it's all free, but it's donation based, and we ask people to donate via Venmo or PayPal. And from there, the bands play, it comes over your radio in your car. People honk for applause. The bands love it. I mean, it's different for sure, and it's weird like that there's no one in front of them when they're performing, but like, I mean, it's a good quality show, and it's short and sweet and like to the point. Like, we don't have bathrooms, so like we do have to like compress the whole thing to an hour and a half and like not push it in either direction because of like our lack of facilities and be able to like accommodate the things that we typically would be able to, because it's not in our own parking lot, it's in a random parking lot. But yeah, I mean, people have been super receptive to it. People have really, really enjoyed it. It's a great way to spend like a late afternoon, and it wraps up like right before sunset. And
Oh, that's gotta be a good view. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean the videos look really good. Chris loves it because like it's like right in that golden hour, so he's filming during
Ah,
that.
that's tight. Yeah, that's like a photographer's like wet dream in a sense. Like that right there
Yeah,
at that hour. Yep. Hmm.
basically as soon as as for me, like as soon as we put like the last thing in the car, it's like right when I have to turn my headlights on. That's like the time how it breaks down. So like that's been pretty, so like the timing of it has been really cool. And like people love it. Like people have been like going crazy for it. I mean there are a lot of car, like this is something we don't see typically during like the normal times when we're open. But
Yeah.
like we have people that are coming that don't care what bands are playing. Like they just are coming every Sunday because they want to see something, you know.
They want to
Um,
get something out there. I mean, this is the new
yeah,
normal. Yeah, this is the new
yeah,
normal, and we're definitely, I can't figure out the word for it, but we're definitely just going with it. Like, what else are
yeah.
we supposed to do? Yeah.
Gotta. I mean, we definitely got like started implementing doing these much earlier than a lot of people. But in all likelihood, I think we're going to be doing these for a long time.
You're also
Um,
doing it correctly, like through and
yeah,
through. That's
yeah,
the other thing too. Like other people have been doing it, but I don't see them doing, the actual setup of how to fully get the full experience of something like that. Like you
yeah.
guys are doing it right.
I've been researching these. I went to some other ones. I'm not going to name names, but where there have been significant uh, things that concern me on the social distancing front.
Mm.
And I mean, like there was that like Chainsmokers show the other day that like made like big news. That made big news. I don't know if you saw that.
No, inform me real quick, and everybody's
Yeah,
listening.
so there was this Chainsmokers show that happened like last weekend, and it was supposed to be a drive-in show,
Hmm.
but people just like wound up getting out of their cars and hanging out in front of the stage, and like there was like a big crowd in front of the stage, and it like was a complete failure.
Yeah, it's fucking
Um,
ridiculous. Yeah.
yeah, I was in New York, and like Governor Cuomo even like said stuff about it. Um, yeah, so it was a mess, but I mean, I've been to a few others too, and like I've been to one where my family and I went to a drive-in show for like a bigger band, and like we couldn't even see the stage like at all, like
So like,
like
so what are you watching? Like,
literally at all. So like we were just sitting in our car listening to an FM transmission of like a band playing live, which like cool. I mean, it was something to do that day, but I couldn't see the
mhm.
stage at all. And I feel like we're offering, I think like pretty close to the best we can possibly do at the level that we're doing it.
Mhm.
Uh, and we're really trying to like streamline the process and get really used to it, because I think because we're doing it every Sunday until, I haven't announced this yet technically, but we're doing it at least until the end of October.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, into the fall season. Yeah, and just keep
yeah.
just keep going.
I mean, November is up in the air just because of weather,
Mm.
because of how cold it might be. But I think that the likelihood is like we're probably going to be back doing these in March or April,
Yeah.
um, and or at least we have to be prepared for such a thing.
I think that you're on the right track because I honestly, personally, don't believe, and these are some of the high executive guys that are also in the industry that own festivals or they are part of booking and such. But they're saying there's an idea of it resuming probably around late 2021, early 22, because of the fact that we're literally the last like entire industry to go back to normal when it's
And,
okay to go back to normal.
and beyond that, like I'm part of the organization NATO, which is the national. Oh God, I should know this, but I don't because I'm awful. Or NITO, National Independent NEVA. Sorry, jeez, I'm like I haven't. That shows how much I'm doing.
That's the same
Um,
thing. Yeah, you're honestly have a lot on your plate, so let your brain like
yeah,
skip a couple beats. You know what I mean?
a lot of people have probably seen like the hashtag Save Our Stages, and
Mm-hmm.
there's this organization NEVA, the National Independent Venue Association, that is working to protect independent live music venues during this
I
pandemic.
did see that. Yeah, I mean the Chameleon Club was something that has
Yeah,
also been a part of it. Yeah, I mean I'm a huge fan of that club and everything else that's like around the area for the
yeah. I
East
mean,
Coast.
there's that like this is like a huge national thing, and they're pushing for like bills to get through the House, through the Congress and stuff like that, about how they can protect these types of organizations. And like just in my internal conversations with people in those groups and stuff like that, it not only does it look like the regular does it look like true touring and stuff is going to come back in like late 21 or 22 in some cases, but the likelihood of the smaller the venue is, the harder it's going to be to do it safely. Because if you have a big venue, you can like spread people out and you might have some space to charge a bit more for tickets, but put people in like pods or like 6 feet apart and stuff.
Right.
But like, I mean, for anyone that's been to the Clubhouse, it is not a big place. And so everyone has to just be prepared for this to last as long as it needs to. Because we have to keep people safe. Like I get so angry at what I see sometimes, because it's like, I know firsthand, like I have a business that I run, but it's like not more important than anyone's life. Like it just isn't.
It's not. No. Yeah. And that's the humane, part of you. And then I see, this is gonna make me throw up in my mouth a little bit. But you have Trapped and Smash Mouth throwing a concert. Smash Mouth, that are throwing a concert that it doesn't require any social distancing, which doesn't require anything that is safety protocol with wearing masks or being in public when everybody's around. It's insane. So that
sucks.
It's not even I know, and I don't think they mean it, but I think this is also probably going on Trapp's doing, because that guy is on the verge of. Insane. I mean, he's been digging his goddamn grave for the past like month now. I mean, he literally. Dude, and you know what I'm talking about. He literally thinks that he can.
On social media has been like the highlight of my quarantine.
Bro, that's like the highlight. It's like he thinks he can outplay Jason Richardson. I'm like, do you fucking know who this guy is? Like, he's on another planet of guitar. Like, that dude can like completely go up and down the fretboard of a guitar within like a matter of seconds. Bro, you're like still stuck on like the 5th chord by the time it gets all the way down. What are you doing?
His fight with Ice Cube, or Ice-T or Ice Cube. I think it was Ice-T. But just, oh my God, talking about their streaming numbers and stuff. And just like fighting with people in Facebook comments. Like it's just like not even like names in Facebook comments, and it has just been so fun to watch.
What are you doing? Like, I
don't. That's a bump.
Smash Mouth though. Yeah, Smash Mouth. I mean, I hope they get their shit together, because I like them too. So it's just
I actually saw them like a couple years ago.
Yeah, no, they're good. I mean, and it's so funny because I went back. I mean, I never used to like if they were on a mix CD, or if they were on. God, this sounds so old. If they were on a now that's what I call Music 12, or if they were on
the Shrek soundtrack.
The track soundtrack. Yeah, it's like, so if I heard them, I wouldn't. I definitely listened to them, and then the fact that I watched an old music video, and they had a lot of like famous actors like Ben Stiller and
I had the Astro Lounge CD. Is that? Yeah, I had that one, and the one that Walking on the Sun was on, and I like listened to them a lot. I mean, I was like 6, but like I loved them. Like I thought they were great.
Yeah, and they're still being highly active, and I mean they know like that they were a meme for a little bit, and they take that with great pride. So
yeah, I saw them play with the Gin Blossoms a few years ago, and I love the Gin Blossoms. I think they're excellent. And it was a fun show. I mean, like I watched it on like the Asbury Beach. Like I didn't pay for a ticket. Like when you like stay on, like across and watch it from like the boardwalk.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. God, I
thought it was fun.
No, that's fun. And like we're trying our best to. I mean, I'm on the same page as you are. I mean, like the health of other human beings in itself is definitely something I take into consideration every day. Yeah. And it's hard. And I try to ask everybody like, hey, how's everybody doing? How's the family doing? Because I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not looking for specific details, but I just want to know, like, if you need anything, let me know. I know some people want to talk or don't want to talk, but excuse me, I'm just saying it just for the aspect in itself. Like, I mean, we're going through a rough time, and like we can relate in this. The music industry is having a really, really hard time, and I'm trying to think of solutions of. I mean, you're literally the Clubhouse, and what you got and the whole group team is doing is honestly just implementing everything that you possibly can to make it a full efficient business, as during this unprecedented time. And the one thing I really am trying to crack down on is because I think the underground bands would be okay. I mean, every underground band is a full-time job. Every underground band like might live with their parents. I don't know. I'm not speaking for everybody, but I'm just saying it in generalization. But like if you're a tier 2 or tier 3 band and you're a DIY or you have a small team behind you, or you're not the super famous bands, like I'm talking about like bands from like Rise Records or like
Right,
like
right.
for example, Dance Gavin Dance just did a live stream of Afterburner for that CD release. How many more times can they do that in a month to
Yeah.
to possibly have some kind of income? And people still bitched about $10 for a ticket sale to watch it live. I didn't give a fuck. I spent $10 on that, and then they gave me a discount on the vinyl for $22. So I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. Like, so I bought that real quick. But what do we do? What is the solution? I think one of the solutions is that I've been thinking of is like vlogging, but that's a lot of effort, and you have to really have the knowledge to do it, or just have someone kind of come in and do it, like and do it for you. I don't know. I'm trying to like, what
And
the
also
fuck are we
the
supposed to
interest,
do?
like I always think it's so interesting, like what we expect of artists sometimes. Um, and like a lot of people that play music don't have any interest in doing something like that either. So like it's like,
Right.
I mean, surviving is an interest on its own, but it is scary. Like it's genuinely terrifying. Like, and I don't know, like for a lot of it. And I've like we've like been talking about doing like some larger drive-in shows, and like we've been reaching out to some bigger bands, like mid-level touring bands and stuff, about doing them.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, like logistically, it is just so hard. Like we get a lot of times we're getting like yeses and interests, and like people are expecting like, oh yeah, we can do that, and then they like check the numbers, they check the ability to like get their staff out with them, like their TMs and like their audio people, and like they look at it and they go, oh wait, like we can't do it if we're not doing a whole tour, like we can't do a one-off show
Mm-hmm.
right now. And that's been rough too. Like I mean, like we've been like talking to like those level bands like pretty much since we started the drive-in series, and like almost every time I get an immediate email saying like, yes, we would love to, and then like the numbers, we figure it out, and then it's like, oh right, like we can't do it, and like the travel is too difficult, like and potentially unsafe in some cases, so like it's just not, it's really hard. Like I mean, I have no idea. And then like the streaming and the vlogging and stuff like that, just a lot of people don't have interest or the inclination for it. um and and like fans obviously feel like they're not owed it a little bit, but like, that there's no shows, they like want to have some sort of communication path, and it's really hard. Like I mean, I don't have an answer on it, but
Yeah.
it's
I don't think
it,
anybody does. I mean, like they'll sign up for Patreon and like do some exclusive content of behind the scenes. Like it's just literally
yeah,
picking up a video camera and recording and such. But it's not even oversaturated as what we're doing to keep our music out there. It's more so as an individual band, what more could you do to bring in a income, b views, c like some kind of like a full on grasp of entertainment. Like what are you doing differently to get the attention of a huge fan of yours? I mean, it I don't know. I'm just trying. Every day I think about it. Every day I think about it. I'm like hoping like that one band or one solo artist, that kind of finds like a pretty decent solution, and then everybody goes along and starts doing it. Like I mean, like when Taylor Swift was stuck up for the music industry in itself, and she basically said no to Spotify for taking her music and streaming it. I mean, that was a huge fucking that was a huge fucking round of applause for her because she looked
yeah.
out for the musicians and the music industry in itself. So like something like that. Like we need somebody like to kind of, I mean, whoever it is, just figure it out, and then hopefully we can see what these bands or these solo artists can do. Because you can't tour, you can't pay these tour managers, and it's just not the bands. It's really not. It's, you said, it's the TMs, it's the stage crew, it's
Yeah.
the marketers. Like what the fuck else are you supposed to do? Like how much can you market? I mean, I think Fearless Records did something right. They did that live stream where they did, they had their whole roster of bands on there and they played live, and that was cool. And it's like,
That
and
is cool.
that was very hype in the very beginning. Like I watched it, I've had a good time. Chunk No Cabin Chunk announced that they were going to come back and release a new album. They never broke up. They were just on a hiatus. But how many times can you do that?
Yeah.
That they did it once, thinking that it is a great idea to implement it, but now it's like, now what do they do?
Right.
I don't fucking know. I just
And it's really hard too. Like I mean, that like what you described is great with that record label, but like for the most part, all these bands are on their own now too, which in normal times you have a lot more like community and propping each other up, and like bands are supported by being opening acts, and like now it's like exclusively like it's really hard to reach anyone besides people that already care about you, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
So that, yeah, it's all just tricky.
Yeah, it is super tricky. And I don't know. I just hope that there's going to be some kind of shift to benefit everybody. I'm waiting for it. I don't know what it is. I wish I had the solution. I wish I could just be like, this is the answer. And like even vlogging, like it helps, but honestly, what much can it do when somebody of that, if you've been playing like drums your entire career and that's it, like are you just gonna start picking up a camera and learn how to edit and film and do all that? Like what's the interest? Like what if you're not interested in it? Like a perfect example was when vlogging was a huge thing and We the Kings did it. I think Charles Trippy, Danny the drummer, I think they all started doing vlogging, and it was cool and it helped, but you know, there's I don't know, there's just so much. What can you honestly do? There's just so much. There's just so much that's going on to try to wrap our heads around it, but
yeah,
I don't know. But I mean, thank God, like you guys are doing something right, and hopefully that there's a lot of other promoters and people who run shows that you guys are doing that they kind of abide by how you guys go about it as well. Before the whole pandemic, I mean, you started from from scratch where you had a free venue and then you put it into an actual venue yourself, which I know what you're talking about with the size. It kind of reminds me, I don't know if you've ever been in the Croc Rock downstairs. Like it's a very long, narrow, just space, like just square footage. Like, so that's cool. That gave me flashbacks when I saw like an Instagram picture. I was like, oh, that reminds me of the Croc Rock. Except that place, really nice.
That place closed now?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I don't even have to Google it, or I'm just saying it off the bat. Like, I know it's closed down. As soon as they lost their liquor license, that fucked them up so bad.
That happening, yeah.
Yeah, it was insane. For anybody that doesn't know, the Croc Rock was in Allentown, PA, and it was kind of like a rundown venue, but they had huge acts come through.
Like way too big for their venue a lot of times.
That had to have been the promoter, like through and through. There was no way. And I showed up to see Devil Wears Prada, and I forget the other bands in the lineup, but I just really wanted to see them. And As I Lay Dying, no thank you. Anymore. But they I think it was like last minute we got an email driving up to Allentown, and they said we're moving venues due to the fact that they don't have a liquor license and they can't sell liquor. So we're going to go to this club down the street. And I was like, this is like 4 hours before the show. Like, I can't believe they're really doing this. And then we went to this club that was like, I guess the same size. I mean, you had to go up in this bar area to get drinks or whatever, and people just hung out. But that killed the Croc Rock. The Croc Rock lost their liquor license, and that just we're out the fucking door.
I remember seeing like a bunch of scene bands there, like that era of bands. Like, I think I saw like Rookie of the Year there and like Forever the Sickest Kids, like that kind of stuff.
Oh, dude, I saw them in Bamboozle, Forever the Sickest Kids.
I saw them a bunch of times.
Yeah, and somebody...
I loved that record.
No, me too.
I saw them at the Ocean County Mall.
No shit. Oh, remember that was a thing?
Yeah.
God, I miss those days.
Plain White T's played the Ocean County Mall, and so did Forever the Sickest Kids. And I don't know if anyone else did.
Dude, I was fucking working at PacSun, having a good time. Like, just, fucking Plain White T's were playing? Yeah. Shoot over there on my break. Fuck it. And they only played 3 songs, but they played their best 3 songs, so
yeah,
that's good. Fuck it. Yeah, the Croc Rock's still not a thing. And, what was I going to say before that? They had something going. The Croc Rock did have something going, but yeah, the mall shows were a thing. Oh, Forever the Sickest Kids. They what really kind of blew my mind is they had Selena Gomez feature like early on in her career when she was still on Disney Channel. I was like, it sounded great, but
that Whoa-Oh song, right?
Whoa-Oh, Whoa-Oh. I was like, wow, this is nice. This is catchy.
That was fun.
They were fun. Yeah, they were fun days, dude, when we could actually enjoy live shows and hug each other and push each other around in the mosh pit. But that's the thing. So we don't have a solution. Thank God, we can do our best to try to keep the industry moving forward. I mean, and especially with the venues, like the nonprofit that you guys are partnering with and the anonymous donor, that is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
that they did that.
Yeah.
I just that's the other thing that's going to be affected too is these venues, because the only thing I can see them having any kind of act coming through is like just comedians. I don't know what else you could really bring artistically, unless it's
Yeah.
art shows. Like you have rows of lines, kind of like you go to the grocery store and you can only go one way down that aisle, and then you come down the other way out and everybody's wearing masks. Like, they do the same thing with an art show or comedians. I don't know, and it's insane. So you guys are, with the Clubhouse, everything in general that you guys are doing, like, what do you guys have holding for the future? Like, is there anything that you guys are going to try to accomplish? Like, one thing that you guys were saying earlier was, or what you were saying earlier was the live streaming of performances for the artists and such.
Yeah. So we're going to continue these drive-in shows for the rest of the Sundays of the year, which are all booked up, by the way. Just so everyone knows, we get about like 10 emails a day from bands asking to play them, and unfortunately, it is incredibly limited. It is that's just the nature of it. It's very, very difficult to accommodate everyone that wants to play when we're the only game in town in this way.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
And I understand it. Like, I don't fault anyone for it, but I know some people get frustrated at us. They're like, we had a show booked, and I'm like, everyone had a show booked. Like, it is just hard. But that said, we're going to continue the drive-in shows. We're testing out live streaming inside our venue this week. I don't have the details right away, but I think it's like August 5th or 4th.
Okay.
We're doing a live stream on 8 p.m. We're probably going to put up a flyer like later today or something. And we're going to be testing live streaming. And if everything works the way we expect it to, we're going to start doing live streaming when we get into the colder months. We're probably going to do in like September, October, like 2 live streams and 1 drive-in show every week, and then move into maybe 2 or 3 live streams a week to replace the void of the drive-in shows once it gets cold.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be fun. I mean, we're really excited to do that. Chris Kunacek is going to be filming those, so his skills are imperative and incredible.
Oh, yeah. He just literally gets better with every day. Like, he's been doing it for incredible. He hasn't even been doing it for that long, I believe, and he's already on a pretty solid level of production.
Yeah, work. He does. He does so much work, and he's so fast. Like
yeah, that too. Yeah,
all of our drive-in shows, like, usually, like, I don't know, like, we do the shows and then we pack up the truck, like the car and stuff after we finish them. And like, we're like lifting like stage pieces and stuff, so it's heavy. And like Chris helps with that too. Like, he puts his camera equipment away and like helps us move the stage. And by the time I'm like home and I've eaten dinner, I usually have like the videos edited in my inbox.
Like bro, I didn't know it was that fast. Like,
I almost always get them like the same night, all of the videos from the entire event, like edited, looking beautiful. And then I'm like, great, I'm not going to mix the music to go with this for like 8 days. So like, thank you, but I need some time.
Especially with the local scene, like there's so many bands out there. Like, yeah. You'll always have some kind of band coming through, like, at all times.
But it's great that he's so fast, and we're going to be doing those live streams, which we're super hyped about. And then, if we can, in some of the downtime, like, we want our live streams. We're not charging bands to do anything like that. We think that's silly. But if like we wanted to do like live studio session or like studio session type stuff that's not live, that people wanted to pay for in addition to our regular programming, like we might open that up. I really want to open up studio time for people because like we have all the gear, offer like really cheap studio time compared to some other places, and maybe Chris can help with some music video stuff. We've been like talking about it, we just haven't figured out the logistics of it yet, and we're probably going to start doing that once we get the live stream settled. So yeah, I mean, follow us on Instagram. The Clubhouse TR is the best way to keep everything up to date, and we'll be making announcements about that stuff pretty regularly.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'm very glad that like the local scene, it has some kind of platform to collaborate with, because that's where it all starts. Any great band, any great musician, like always starts in the local scene, like works their way up to success. Yeah. And I'm very thankful that you and your team are able to provide that, and you're accommodating what it takes to do and to run something efficiently like that. As well as implementing other art. You said that side store, you sell other art and such, and that's also like another way of putting into a perspective of keeping the community together and everything. I think art. I mean, before we end this podcast and I sign off, I think art is. I don't want to say in like a really drastic way, but I think art is, definitely on the verge of just becoming some kind of irrelevance if we can't, honestly get back to a normal society. I don't think art would be, I don't think it would be as significant as it is now, and to make something out of it, like, I just, as a career wise or as something full time, I just don't. We just need to get over this unprecedented time as best we can, like doing and abiding by what the rules are, what the CDC guidelines are, and going back to normal. But I fear for art in general and the people who work in that industry, whatever it is, even tattoo artists.
Yeah, it's just really. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, like, even my tattoo artist, like, he had to cancel his, or he had to shut down his store, and just, like, couldn't really give tattoos. That's a lot of money that's going out of his pocket.
Yeah. I think that right now, just the important thing that we need to be doing is just finding ways to create options for people that, like, to like, as a stream of revenue and stuff like that, to create, but more importantly, to just remember the value of it, and put lawmakers and stuff like that to task, and remind them the importance of certain industries and the impact that it has. And unfortunately, you have to, like, make the argument from, like, a really economic standpoint sometimes of, like, this is how art brings things to other businesses, but because they won't find the inherent value in it. But it's just important to remind people what the value of it can be, and how important it is to make sure that we maintain, that we don't let entire industries and entire factions of people sink into despair. Which is why, I mean, I'm incredibly infuriated about the unemployment situation right now. Like, not even on my own, I was enjoying the benefits of it too, but, like, that's irrelevant because I'm, like, lucky enough where, like, I'm not going to be screwed. But I mean, I went to school for theater, and, like, I've worked in theater for a long time too, and, like, that industry, I mean, the music industry is right there too, but the theater industry, there's no drive-in shows, there's no live streaming for it, and every 90, like, I think it's like 97% of the people that work in that industry are unemployed right now, and their unemployment benefits have just dropped to whatever the state level is, if their state has decided to extend their benefits if they've paid into them long enough. So, like, I mean, you have an entire industry of people that are currently abandoned. And I mean, like, it is insulting. It is disgusting. It is this is the livelihood of people, and, like, not finding the value in it when that value is taken advantage of during the normal times to bring business to cities, to bring like it's insulting, and it's just, and frankly, it's like, I think it's bordering on evil to let those things happen and let people and let people's lives collapse, especially when the spread of the virus in this country is entirely because of poor management and poor leadership.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying for them. And you're 100% right, dude. Like, everything that you said in that statement is completely correct. And the thing is, like, you need to extend these employees their benefits. And you shared an article recently from onstageblog.com, and you can't just let these people just, all right, you're on your own now. Oh, you've been doing theater, you've been doing this kind of artwork for your entire life, and that's all you know? Well, figure it out, because you're not getting the benefits that everybody else is getting. So, boo-hoo you. No, that's fucking inhumane, and it has nothing to do, with other people that are able to work with a blue-collar job or something in real estate or sales, whatever the case may be. But like, these people have lives and feelings and families, and like if you were such a famous, a phenomenal Broadway star, and like that was your gig and that makes your living, you're not doing that anymore. You're not.
Yeah,
Like what else are you doing?
People were making like real money going to unemployed, like in a matter of, and like it's such a sudden shift for so many people, and like, and there's just been a lack of understanding of the actual impact that this will have, and I hope that at the very least things on the unemployment front get resolved in the next couple of days, I'm hoping. But Congress is out till Monday at least, so we'll see.
Yeah, I would hope so too. But I mean, it's just the fact that there's a group of people, or a handful. It's not a handful. It's more than a handful. But people, like, if it hasn't affected them, they're not gonna think otherwise of what's happening to other people, and that's a hard mentality to even consider of a human being.
Yeah.
Like, I always try to play devil's advocate and say, like, well, let's put myself in their shoes for a second. Like, how do they go about their lives, and how they go about trying to support themselves, and and having that conversation, if I get the opportunity with them. But I'm not going to sit here and say, well, they should be fine. Like, go get a job at a warehouse. It's like, well, they were probably making 3 times the money at a warehouse, and now they're stripped of their talent, and their livelihood is taken away from them. So you're going to make them start from scratch? Get the fuck out
and
of here.
hiring right now is like, I mean, there's also like the ability to get a job, which is incredibly hard right now. I mean, most industries have people that are looking for jobs that have already worked in those industries. So like, to insert yourself into an industry you're unfamiliar with is like, I mean, it would be like winning the lottery for some people.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, no, you're right. And the jobs that you are able to get, if you get it, they're not going to be as, rounded as what you used to have, or like what they are now. Like, for example, I have my CDL and I drive trucks for a living, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got my CDL before this pandemic happened. Like, I want to say like 4 or 5 months before this pandemic happened. If I did not get my license, before the pandemic, and it was like either during or after, I would not have my license. And like, you can't, like, I can't go get it. Like, the DMV, the education programs that like are giving you opportunities to get something like that, and that job's not for everybody. But what I'm saying is, like,
it's not available. Like the access.
It's not available. So that access is not there. You're shit out of luck. I mean, people go to an education to get it, and it's like, you're not allowed to physically be in the same truck as with anybody else. It's like, everything's completely flipped backwards. Like, so let's just take that into consideration. But the best that we can do is literally just try to support each other, support the communities, and have an understanding, and try to find solutions for this. Which the Clubhouse has been doing day to day. You guys are really doing it. Like,
yeah.
And I appreciate that. Like, I take interest in anybody who comes on this podcast, because like, I want them on this podcast for a reason. And Kevin Torres from Poeta, he's like, dude, you should hit up Jimmy. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm gonna hit up Jimmy. Like, I was like, this dude's been knowing what he's doing since the beginning that I've known you. So, but everybody's good. Yeah. Everybody's good with the family. Everybody's good, with quarantine and everything. Like, you guys are okay?
Yeah, we're all right. I hope the same for you.
Yeah, no, we're good. Yeah. Okay, working from home is pretty beneficial. So I definitely have the privilege that most people don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I take that into consideration. But thank you, brother. I really appreciate you coming on.
Seriously.
And anybody that wants to reach out to Jimmy for local bands in the New Jersey area of Toms River and Ocean County, even in like the Philadelphia area, they're doing a lot of incredible things with live promotion, live streaming, car drive-in shows. So you can see them on Instagram and Twitter at the Clubhouse TR. There's a website, I believe, right? I'll post that when this goes.
Yeah, it's theclubhousetr.com, and then our Gmail is theclubhousetr@gmail.com. So it's all the same thing, just in the different spots.
Yep. Let's just keep building this community and keep doing good things, because it's gonna thrive when we all go back to a normal living.
Yeah, and check out our YouTube channel too. I'm gonna throw that in there. We've got
throw that YouTube channel there.
Tons of good quarantine content in there of local bands. So youtube.com/theclubhousetr.
And you might find your new favorite band. I know I will. Yeah. I know I will. There's some really, really like underground talent that needs to be fucking showed. Like,
Teenage Halloween is like literally my favorite band, and we just uploaded a video with them the other day.
There was hold on, before I sign off, I'm definitely gonna shout this girl out. She was on YouTube. She was phenomenal. Like, she kind of just gave me this like folk soul vibe.
On our YouTube channel.
Yeah, she was an independent artist. She was blonde hair.
Was it in one of our older ones, like Inside?
Yes.
I'm guessing Gianna Marie.
Yes, that was her. Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Her voice is just immaculate. Like, I have never heard anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, her voice reminds me like a little of Dolly Parton. I think her voice is incredible.
I never even made that comparison. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So my mind is
I'm a
just
huge Dolly Parton fan. I want a tattoo of Dolly Parton.
That's so sick, dude. I did never. As soon as you said it, my mind was like it made that connection, like immediately. I was fucking saying, but thank you for coming on. Thank you for supporting the community. Thank you for being involved and taking your time, and to the whole team of the Clubhouse, like, thank you. Like, this is exactly what we need to keep art, being brought to life and to keep flourishing. Thank you for everything that everybody's doing. You guys are doing something right. You.
No, thanks for sure, man.
On. Yeah, dude, absolutely. All right, take care, Jim.
All right, you too. Talk to you later.